Hi, my friend. Happy July 1st. It's Pat Sloan here, and we have a kickoff of several things. Plus, I want to talk about the Tour de France. Yes. Why? You'll find out. Okay, so we have Beautiful Morning kicking off the sew along. There is a kit that so many of you have. If you haven't got the kit yet, you can still get one. So we're starting that, and this is with my birdsong fabric. So part of the birdsong love fest this July and August, sewing with my fabric line. We also have setting the Make-A-Wish quilt, setting all the blocks, and I have a little video of how I was laying mine out while I was thinking about it, so I'll show you that. I'm changing out the quilts in my living room. Yes, we're going to look at that process a little bit. Oy, 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 so many quilts. Okay, so let's first talk about Heartfelt Welcome, which is the Make-A-Wish quilt. My quilt has been already quilted by Gina Tell, and I've put the binding on, and off it's gone. It's at the Fat Quarter Shop so that it can go up for auction, to be auctioned with several quilts to get the final fundraising for Make-A-Wish. And I did a video about laying out the blocks and how I was looking at the colorations and separating them and moving them and shifting them. So let's take a look at that. And all the blocks are up. Wow, it looks fabulous. I moved my little red thing over to the side, my little storage unit, so we could see them all. Now there is sort of a pile of red and pink here. These guys need separated. So I do need to shuffle a few things around. I'm going to look at my original diagram, color diagram, which was not 100% spot on how it would be, but it probably was a little bit more balanced, or I might just mess around with it here. So the last star is very cool. Let's find one here. Here's one. Okay, so you see how it's similar to the first block, but it has these little points. See the little points that stick out? And so the heart in the middle is just a little bit tinier. That's just a really, really cool design. Fat Quarter Shop did an amazing job on this. Okay, so excited to have it up there. So I will be getting the sashing ready on it so that it can go to Gina Tell and be quilted for the Make-A-Wish. I think that part is fun. I know that many people get frustrated with it because the blocks just, you know, you move one and then it touches something you don't want it to touch, you know, but it's kind of like a puzzle to me. I think of it like a puzzle, maybe like a Rubik's Cube. You know, you would move that Rubik's Cube around and it would always touch something you didn't want it to touch. Although easier than the Rubik's Cube, I think. So I find it kind of fun to do that, to get the layout up there and look at it. But don't overthink. For those overthinkers in the world, that is death. You just never finish anything. At some point, you're like, if this is good, this is good. This is good. Just start sewing it up. And if you have to move something while you're working, that is not the end of the world. You can do it. Okay, so you're going to set all your blocks for your Heartfelt quilt this month. And then next month is the backing, if you're going to put that big heart on the backing. So you'll be doing that. Beautiful morning. Yes, yes, it's a beautiful morning. So we are doing what's called the star block in the pattern, and that is kind of the chunky one. So this is the star block, and then this is called the cross block. But I want to show you here on a video first a little tip as to how the colors are placed on this particular one, so that you can, if you want to duplicate that method, it has a pattern. So let's take a look at that. The Beautiful Morning quilt, which is the name of the kit, the pattern name is Morning Glory, but I want to tell you about the sort of coloration so that you can do the same thing for yours. There are two blocks. This is the star block and this is the cross block. So cross block, star block, and I'm going to show you those on the cutting table. We'll take a look at them up close, but I want to show you the coloration because there's a blue, and then the blue cross pink stars, and then this is pink and blue. They're the same block as the cross. There's a star block which has the blue again. Here's a different pink and blue cross block. Then this star block is green all the way down. See, that one's green. Then we have the pink again and the blue again, and so they repeat, you know, from this side down to that side. So that's how the colorations work, and we are going to do the star blocks first. So you'll make all of those this week, and then next week we'll make the cross blocks. So pretty. One of the things about repeat blocks that I personally like is having a pattern. You could do this scrappy if you're not using birdsong, or even if you are using birdsong, you could, which is my fabric line, you could do this totally scrappy. You could be mixing and matching everything up. But it is kind of fun to have a little bit of a pattern to work off of. So you're like, okay, I need to make X number with this set of fabrics, X number with this set of fabrics, and then this is how they're going to lay out. So if you like that, it feels a bit random when you first look at it. It feels a bit scrappy, but it actually has a pattern, as you just saw, which is kind of cool. So let's take a look at the star blocks over on the back side of the table. The Beautiful Morning pattern comes in 3 sizes, and the lap is the one that's for the kit, and so a lot of you will probably be making that size. I am for now going to make the smaller, the crib size, and I'm just taking a unit out of the top left corner. That's the number of blocks I'm going to do. So let me just show you the blocks in birdsong. So I will have 1 pink block. I will have 3 green ones for the crib size. 1, 2, 3. See look how beautiful. You can fussy cut the shapes. So here's the flower, and the bird can be fussy cut. That's so fun. And then I have 2 of the blue. So these are, of course, are going to be alternating with the X block. And then my size will be more of a crib size, and then a border. All right, let's talk about changing our quilts out. So I took the video camera first into the other room, just sort of talked from my living room about, pulling everything out. But the lighting is super bad in there, so I brought most of the quilts in here so that you can see them. And what I'll do is I'll get my handheld camera then afterwards, after I hang them all up, and do a video through so that you can see where they ended up, because there'll be a few in the hall and in the living room, and then I did get Hometown Charm put up here in my studio space. So I switched out the Folk Art America quilt. So yeah, I just like to switch them. I like to switch that back one a little bit more often, but a lot of things don't fit there. They have to be long enough. Otherwise, they're behind me in the video and you don't see most of it because the rod's pretty high up on the wall. Anyway, so first let's start in my living room. So I'm ready. I have my Starbucks in hand. Thank you for those who have sent me Starbucks card. This drink's on you and you and you and you. Mwah. So I'm ready to go. I have to take down all of the more green spring type quilts in my living room and switch them out for my more red, white, and blue, and blue, white type quilts. So what I've done is I've gathered here, put them on the coffee table and a few on the couch there, a bunch of pillow covers, a table runner, some of the quilts so I can put it on the wall, over the sofa. I have a ladder in here. I put them on this back of this chair, and I need to have one for my studio. So what I've done is I've gotten out Hometown Charm, and this is the quilt. This is one of my single patterns, and I will put this up onto, let me see how far back I can get. So I will put this up in my studio, so I had to get it out. They all need a little pressing from being on the shelf, and what I'll do is I will show you the quilts over in my studio space where it's a little bit easier to do that. So let's go take a look at that, and when we're done, I will come back and pan through and show you everything I hung up. Let's look at what I have. I'm just going to hold them up and I'll talk about them. And I honestly, it's going to be hard to link to everything. So I will just sort of tell you what they're about, and you can figure out for yourself where they are by going and just searching on my website, because it's so much. Okay. They're just all over the place. This one I honestly don't even remember. I think it was a sew along with somebody. I don't think that's my drawing. I can't remember if those of you know, but it's super cute. It has the dream buttons, and it may have been that the Button People did this one. The Button People, and I used their pattern, just another button company. But this is a tiny little thing just to lay somewhere, tuck it in. I think it's so sweet. I've got my sailboat, and this one is from this is from my Celebrate the Seasons book, because my publisher still has the book picture on there. Now I'm going to hang this up because for me, summer and water, they're all together. I grew up near the ocean. We could walk to the ocean when I was a little kid. It was just a couple blocks away from where we lived. So I always feel the ocean is part of summer. So this will be up there. My home is from the applique book, the home banner. Whoops, there we got too tall. And I have a couple places this can go. Where I hung my tulips was in my hallway at the end of the row of quilts. And so I'm going to take the tulips down, which is a little bit wider, and I'll put this up instead. Now I have a few pillows in the room. And so I just went through looking for what I have. This is usually where I end up going, oh, I need another, something for the pillows. This is one, I don't know that I'll use it because it has orange in it, but I pulled it out. It's one from the scrap blocks that I made. I have one of my traffic jam blocks, just a single block from traffic jam made into a pillow. I didn't quilt this one. This one is not quilted. I really do like the pillow fronts to be quilted, but that one's not, and nor is this one. Several of them are not. As much as I would like them to be, they are not. So this is just the 2.5-inch squares. And I like having pillows that just have that sort of more solid color look to them because they can pull the colors from the quilts that I've hung, and then they're like an accent. So they're not all a feature. This red one is just a single piece of fabric. I love that print. It feels very Americana to me, very summery, even though it's red. Red, everything red. It's got the blue in it. Here's another one that was done with some scrappy blocks. Definitely has a summer vibe for me with my summer blue. And this one is quilted. See? Okay, now the front door, I have had my Ukraine block up there, but I'm going to switch it out now and put up my, this is a free pattern I did for a wreath. So it's really fun, doesn't take long to do. You can use your buttons to add on there. And so I have that, I'll link that one below. This will go up on my front porch. Okay, so for some of the bigger quilts, I have the version of Crush, which I put then into my holiday book as Liberty Hill in blue. So the blue one is going to hang in my, it's probably going to go maybe over the couch. Okay. I don't know, I'm missing one here. I'm going to have to go find it. So hold on, not yet. Let me show you what I have here, and then I'll have to go find that other one. Okay, so here is Liberty Hill. It's the same pattern up there as the red and white that I keep in my studio all the time. And on the back of this one, I have several fabrics, including some big blue with white polka dots. So this has a lot of nautical fabrics that I collected in there. So that was really, really fun to do. Okay, I have a 4 block from my book. This is on the cover of my Quilt the Seasons book. And this is a really nice size quilt for hanging up. I also could just put it on the back of the sofa, not the back of the chair that I showed you, or I have a rocker in there, could put it on the back of the rocker. And I have a single block of this, which I added some buttons to. All of these need a little press to get the sort of resting creases out of them. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, it doesn't really, no, it does matter. Where's the buttons? They're at the bottom. Okay, there we go. So that's just one block from that, and that's in my Celebrate the Seasons book. Now my quilt, what did I do? I left it on the, I left it over on the sofa. Let me go get it. Last year's Liberty Box quilt that I added the squares around it with white alternating with red, with white, with blue, with red, with white, with blue. So this will go above my sofa. So I am super, super excited to hang that up there. And then I have another few that'll go like on the ladder so that I can have just the color in the room. Like, whoops, everything's gonna fall on the floor here. Whoop, down one went. So here's my traffic jam, which has tons and tons of blocks. This is a free pattern of mine. So here's traffic jam in blue with a little bit of sort of coral red and lots of white squares. So, and then I have my American flag, the grand old flag. which, ta-da, the grand old flag. So, of course, that'll go somewhere in there, maybe on the ladder as well. And then last thing is I need a table runner. So I showed you this one the other day on Flag Day, was the table runner that's a free pattern at the Fat Quarter shop, and I link you to it. And so it has the flags. So I'll put this on the table for now, but I know I have a stack of table runners, and I want to find out if I have another one that's summery feeling. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to make another one because I don't want to have the flag through August. I'll probably just do the flag through middle of July, and then I'll switch that table runner out because all the other stuff really doesn't have the flag on it. So I don't know. I just sort of like to do that to switch it up a bit. Now let's go over to my living room real quick and I will show you where I hung all this stuff. So I switched out the wreath now for on the front door, and on my ladder I have my flag quilt and the Liberty Hill from my book. Now let's swing around here. I've put the sparkler draped over the back of the chair with the pillow is from a Traffic Jam. Now this little table topper was something from a friend's sew along quite a few years ago. So it was something that she did. She no longer does those things now. She doesn't even have her website anymore. You know, people move on. So here it is, my Liberty box from last year with my border on it. Oh, this is so great. I just love coming in here. And then I have the sailboat and the home. Now, what I did is the flag was just too long. It hung over and it didn't look nice. So I don't know where some other blue and red, white, and blue table runners might be, whether I even have any, but I found this one. And this also was something that was a free pattern from somebody years ago that is, I could not find it. If I do find it, I'll list it, but it was given to quilt shops. So, in any case, let's go back and see the Liberty Box quilt. Ta-da! Look at that. So excited. Hope you enjoyed this little tour. So why the Tour de France? Well, it starts today, July 1st, and runs until the 24th. And I mean, of course, I've known about the Tour de France and I have seen it, you know, snips in here, but I have never watched a good bit of it. I'm not a bicyclist, although there is some really pretty scenery. And that comes to why we're going to talk about it. There's a podcast called 99% Invisible. If you've never listened to it, it is so good. It is all about quirky, interesting things that go on all over the world. They interview different people. And well, this one was all about the broadcasters for the Tour de France, because they have been talking about the scenery and the history about where the riders are for quite a few years. And they interviewed them. I think one of them has passed away now, but they interviewed the other. And they just talked about how this came about, that these broadcasters started doing all of this history along with narrating the race. Because, you know, honestly, I can imagine there are many parts of the race where there's just really not a lot to say. So they have to keep talking. And they just started talking about the buildings and the towns, and then the whole country of France was like, got into this as a wonderful way for people to know about their country. So that is why I think it is fabulous. I'm now going to find where I can listen to that during the month of July, off and on, maybe while I'm sewing, go and just listen to a little bit of it and get a feel for what they do. So I thought maybe you would like to do that too. Maybe you'd like to listen to the show. It is linked below and at my website. All of these things are listed at my website too. I'm going to try to list all of those quilts that I showed you over there. So that will be this as many as I can, where to find them. Okay, my friend, we are sewing Beautiful Morning. And you are. It is such a fun quilt to do. It is so gorgeous when it's finished, and I'm so happy that you are sewing with my birdsong, my fabric for the Birdsong Love Fest. Thank you so much. And if you would take a moment and please subscribe, that way you will always get a notice when there's something new. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.